Bay of Pigs invasion was an American CIA-sponsored attack on Cuban government to overthrow the Prime Minister of Cuba at the time, Fidel Castro. But to go through with this plan would be difficult because the U.S. wasn't warring with Cuba at the time, so the Americans made it seem like they were going to be non-involved in this attack and declared their non-intention to get mixed up in Cuban affairs. But it was too late, because Cuba had already approached the UN with true information of the U.S. training mercenaries for a planned invasion.
John F. Kennedy administered the mission in April 1961, but when it fails, it became a part of American history, marking the resistance of Cubans against American aggression. Kennedy and Eisenhower were having a very hard time removing Castro. He wouldn't budge. In Cuba, properties and investments were lost due to Cubans fleeing from the island to Miami because of Castro's communistic ways. This was America's chance to convince those Cuban exiles to participate in invading against Castro's communist governance. The CIA trained the exiles, and the 2,506th Brigade was sent to Nicaragua for last preparations to set sail on April 13th. There, Luis Somoza, the dictator of Nicaragua, paid them a visit. With humor, he told them to bring back a hair from the beard of Fidel Castro.
The Cuban Expeditionary Force was made up of more than 1,000 armed soldiers set foot in Cuban land on April 17th. Meanwhile, small-scale attacks between the armed forces arose when rebel groups in Cuba were notified of the assault. Then Cold War was then increased between the two nations due to the diplomatic relations fallout between the U.S. and Cuba.